Hello, welcome to this conversation, our conversation with Roosevelt. What a pleasure, what a distinct honor I have today. My guest is an outstanding video presenter. Her name, Milissa Jayne, or so she's known as MJ. Very simple. MJ teaches video confidence and technology skills, which is we all need at that moment. She's the founder and host of the Millissa Jayne Show, and this show airs on Facebook Live every Thursday. This Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The multimedia show features entrepreneurs, small business owners, as well as independent recording artists and community leaders. Milissa Jayne is originally from Birmingham, England. I remember I told her, "Oh, do you know that place, Birmingham, Birmingham Palace?" No, is this something else? She will tell us more about that. And she has a long, very long background in information technology. Milissa Jayne, welcome to our conversation. And my name is Roosevelt Jean-Francois. I welcome you watching this video conversation as well. Milissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Thank you so much, Roosevelt. It's an honor to be here.
The honor is mine. Tell us about you. I know I've shared who you are, what you do now, but I'm pretty sure there is some part of your story starting when you were back there. You mentioned England. Tell us what brought you here?
Okay. Well, you mentioned Birmingham Palace. Well, I had to politely correct you because it's actually Buckingham Palace is what you were referring to. I am from Birmingham City in the UK, and it's a fairly big city and cosmopolitan, lots of different cultures and so forth. But when I grew up, I did not see a lot of Black people, people of color, in positions, in high positions in, the offices, in politics, in whatever. And I thought, you know what, I want to move to America where I can see a lot more of our people represented. And that was a dream that I had when I was growing up as a younger person.
So what I get from what you said, Milissa, coming to America, as Eddie Murphy will put it in that movie, that was part of your dream since
that was part of my
being
dream.
a young girl.
From
How
when I was.
How old were you then?
I think I was probably in my late teens. I'm going to say maybe 18, 19. And I just thought about it in the back of my mind, but I didn't really do anything about it really much. It was just a dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was in 1990 when I got this job that was my ideal job. And then 4 years later, that company was taken over by an American company. And at that point, I said, okay, this could well be my ticket, my avenue into America. And for the next 4 years, I worked hard at my job, which was in information technology, as I mentioned, which was ideal because, America to me was the leader in all technology. And I worked towards coming over to America. And after 4 years, in 1998, I was able to move in the same company and move to New York City.
Of course, we go fast. We are now in New York. It moves faster maybe than Birmingham.
Yes,
it moves
definitely.
Faster than Birmingham Palace. It moves faster than London. But what was it like to be a girl growing up in Birmingham in England? What was it like? The friends you had, the school you went to, and as well the dreams, the aspirations you had in your mind as a girl growing up?
Growing up, I grew up in the church. I think I joined the church at the age of 17, really sort of committed. But before that, we were always a God-fearing family. So we always was part of a church, but not really dedicated. But I joined at 17. My young days were involved in choir, in church, everything to do with the church. I was
Now I
engrossed.
understand why you have such a deep and beautiful voice. They said singing is playing twice. Now I understand why you have such a projective voice, and good
I
job
think
on that.
you're absolutely right. I think that has a lot to do with it. We had a lot of voice training. I was a part of a chorale, and we did a lot of classical singing, a lot of Negro spirituals, and we learned how to sing really, really well. So I do give the church a lot of um, props for that. So I was part of a choir, and we actually did quite a bit of touring too. We toured parts of Europe. The Scottish, what's it called, the Fringe Festival every year for a few years. We toured in the Caribbean, St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and we toured Germany and Poland. So it was quite an experience doing that as a young, somebody in their 20s. So
So
that
what
was
I
a lot of
get is
fun.
that you were young, but you had an opportunity to travel a couple of places, going
Yes.
in Europe and bringing your talent for others to see what you can and what you did. And now you told us that you went to New York. What happened? Were there a shock between what you used to, the life you had in Birmingham and in Europe, and what you have experienced coming to America?
Yes, it was quite a shock. I knew that it was what I wanted to do, but still, landing in New York City, and especially not knowing too many people, because I didn't know anyone. I think I made some connections via the internet. And
Uh-huh.
excuse the fan that I'm using here. I'm a little
Oh,
warm, and I'm just
I
sitting
think
at
this is very Londonian.
yeah. so so yes, to see how much traffic there was, and parts of New York was quite rough, and that was quite. And then the language. There's a lot of different languages. I'm hearing the Haitian language. I'm hearing the Spanish language. So all of those things were a little bit of a
Now
shock
you
to me.
mentioned the language. Let's have a conversation right there. It
Okay.
seems to me when I'm speaking, they said I have an accent. And do you have one too?
Yes. Yes, I
Do you
do.
have fun with it? What is it about your accent? Because if you are from England, I understand this is where English started. And how come
Well,
you have an accent when you are from England?
well, everybody has an accent.
Ah, I
So
didn't
it
know
just
that
depends.
until you say it.
Yes, it just depends on where you're from, whether you feel that you have an accent or not, or the other person has an accent. And the world is just so full of various different people and different cultures and different accents that you just got to enjoy all of them. Like your accent now, it's such a Frenchy sound. It's
Some
quite,
people said it's funny.
it's a matter of opinion, I would say.
Yes, and others said it's hard. Sometimes I'm having fun with it. I said, is it funny? If it is funny, we are going to have fun. If she said it's hard, I said, hey, maybe you need to develop your
That's right.
listening skills.
That's right.
I was teaching a class at FAU. I remember I was teaching a class on diversity issues.
Mhm,
And one of my students, she is Spanish descent.
mhm.
She's Hispanic. And she came to me at the end of the class. She said, Professor, would you please speak slower
Slow.
because I can't understand your accent. I said, I understand. But if you really want to have those 3 point credits to advance and to graduate, you need to listen faster because now I'm the one teaching.
Right, right. Yes, it's languages are quite interesting, but it can be a challenge because I do remember one experience. I was in, and this was actually when I came to Florida because it was even more.
Mm.
I was trying to get from Miami Airport to Fort Lauderdale driving, and I made a wrong turn, and I had to ask for directions how to get up back to Fort Lauderdale. And every gas station I went into and asked the question, they spoke Spanish, and I did not speak Spanish. So I had a very bad challenge, and I was very, very upset because I'm like, how come I'm in Miami and I can't get anyone to speak English? So it can be a challenge, the language barrier.
So what you said is that you didn't speak Spanish then. Now you are learning, and we are going. But one thing we know, and I was reading Trevor Noah, and one thing he mentioned is that having an accent proves that you speak another language. That means
Yes.
You have other ways of expressing yourself. As a matter of fact, it's supposed to be an asset instead of a liability, as you mentioned.
It really is, because at least, someone like yourself, you will speak two languages, whereas the average person only speaks one language. So you do certainly have an advantage over anybody else.
Yes, I also understand French better than I understand English.
Yes.
And Creole. As I told, I was with a friend who speaks English. I said, when you are only from America, you are like a fish in the water. That's all you understand, English. But myself, I'm learning the language. I know how to swim, but there are certain things that my physical strength cannot go that far. When I need to express myself really, I need to dig deep. I have to pull that word from my toes, pulling it up until I can express it.
Right.
And you just, and it comes. I totally understand. Now, you, a young girl from Birmingham, at being a teen, you had that dream to come to America. Then you went to New York, and then you were in Miami, coming to North Lauderdale. You have to ask questions in those gas stations, and your responders were in Spanish, and then now you are. What happened?
Well, that experience just taught me that, you know what, maybe I need to widen my language knowledge. And I did actually start taking some Spanish for a little while, but
es un placer de escuchar eso.
So it did not stick with me. I did not stick with it. So that was the end of that.
Some Creole as well. Ça passe.
You hear those things and you want to be a part of it. So,
Sure.
Naboulé, is it?
Oh, at least you got the key to open the gate. Congratulations.
Yes, now, but go ahead.
You're listening to Roosevelt. Our conversation today is with Milissa Jayne. Milissa, I met you. It was a Saturday morning.
That's right.
It was at Kaiser University, and you were participating in what fellow Toastmasters called a contest, a speech, an international speech contest. You were telling a story, a vibrant story.
Wow.
A fire from your house.
Yes.
First, being a Toastmasters and sharing your stories with people you don't know. How do you feel about that? Why sharing your stories, sharing who you are, is important to you?
Well, I got to take you back to why I joined Toastmasters, because I'm in the media, radio host, video. I'm involved in that. And I was aware that a lot of the times I was saying a lot of ums and ahs and struggling with my words. And I decided to take Toastmasters. But what I found in Toastmasters, it does so much more than eliminates your ums and your ahs. It gives you the talents to be able to tell stories, which I didn't really expect. But when I took part in that contest, I knew that I had to pull out something that was going to compel the audience. And the experience of being in a fire at a young age with my siblings was a very, very exciting or scary and all of those things. It was a very, very interesting story, and it had a lot of ups and downs in it, a lot of excitement. And I worked on that, and I think I did a fairly decent job, because I came second place in my very first contest, only after being in Toastmasters for about 6 months or so. So it was a wonderful experience,
And
and
also, being second is just an opinion of the judges. Then that does not mean you are second. You are first in your own lane.
I was first. I
That's what
felt
we
like
always tell people. It is very subjective.
right.
And for me, listening to you, it seems to me you took me from where I was in your double-story home. The way you
Yes.
described it, and the feeling, the passion you brought to that story. And now you are gifted with words. You have an ability to express yourself flawlessly.
Thank you.
How did you develop that capacity?
You know, to hear you say that is quite I don't even know what to say. Now you have me stumbling over my words. But it's quite a compliment, because I do still feel that I have a long way to go. I'm better than I was a year ago, 2 years ago, and every day it's a journey. You know, even within Toastmasters, we have people that have been there for 10, 20, 30, all their lives, and they are still learning every day. So I believe that having good conversation, good storytelling, it's just going to be something that's with me for the rest of my life. Each day I'll develop, and yes, I will feel that I'm better than other people and worse than other people. But at the end of the day, it's not really a contest with other people. It's really, how can I be the best that I can be? So every day I work on it. And even in this interview right now, I am aware of how I'm pronunciating. I'm aware of all the things that they teach me in Toastmasters, trying not to do the ums and the ahs, and trying to be clear and slow down, because that was another thing that I used to do, was to speak really fast. So I'm learning each and every day, and I really do credit Toastmasters to that. So if there's anybody out there listening and you're wondering, oh, how can I just improve the way I speak, the way how I present, the way how I come across to an audience, to one-on-one, Toastmasters is definitely something to consider.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I'm myself a Toastmasters. I came here in 2005. It took me 5 years before I joined a club. And I can tell you, I was a professional journalist working in Creole and French back home in Haiti. And coming here, even if you had been a professional, but when you moved, you also moved with your fears, with your shortcomings, and with your liability as well. But Toastmaster helped me build that confidence, that self-confidence, that we will segue to your video conference teaching. Why video conference today? Why video confidence? Why confidence is so important in your video presentation?
Confidence is so important. And the reason why I chose that field is because, well, I've been doing this for 10 years now, as in front of the camera. Before that, I was confident in other ways. So, for example, when I was directing the choir, I was confident and I was a leader in that way. Even in the work that I did with the company I was working for 28 years, the same company for 28 years, my role in that company was to teach technology. So over the last 10 years, since I've been teaching, or I've been doing a video show, I decided, let me roll all of these things together. And especially at this time, people are confined in their homes. They have to use Zoom, other video conferencing tools. Why not help people who are shy to be in front of the camera, to just get over that little hump? So I put together a course. It's actually, I have a free ebook, first of all. It's 12-page, very, very short and spicy little ebook that gives you some tips on how to build your confidence, on how to go live, how to just go in front of the camera. And that's a freebie. If you want to get further than that, there's a workshop that we go into some depth. So when we have an opportunity for the students to just write down their fears. Let's talk through the fears. Let's eliminate those fears. And then by the end of the workshop, they are going to do a little presentation. It's only going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. And they do a presentation right there on Zoom. And I'm able to critique them and give them their feedback right there and help them. By the end of the 90 minutes, they're feeling confident enough to go away and do their own, whether it's Facebook Live or a video, or get onto a Zoom call and have nice lighting, have good sound, and things like that. So it just gives them a little bit more of an edge over the next person, if that's where they want to go. And a lot of people are very, very shy in front of the camera, believe it or not. And this kind of a workshop can really, really help them out.
And it is in front of that small device, it is totally different than speaking or talking to someone face to face. And I have downloaded your ebook. Thank you. It's very outstanding. It gives me the opportunity to learn more. And it gives me that confidence, even myself, if I can stand in front of you and have a presentation, thank you to build that video confidence. Of course, I used to be a journalist, but I remember the camera we used to use when I was at Tele-IT in Port-au-Prince, that was a very big camera.
Yeah,
and
yes.
Today, the camera is built on your cell phone.
Exactly. So everybody has the potential to be on camera, and everybody, and a lot of people do. But what I must say though is that with the COVID-19 situation going on right now, a lot of things are kind of much more relaxed. So you're going to have people that are doing the whole thing very, very relaxed. They may be laid in their bed on the phone and so forth. But in a professional setting, then those things certainly do apply. And I do have other courses as well, like video conference etiquette, things like that. And I have another fun workshop about video conferencing etiquette.
Of course, if you need Milissa Jayne service, I will tell you she is on Facebook Live every Thursday. She's also on Instagram, and you are on Twitter. You name it, you are what we call a multimedia guru, a multimedia wizard, and this is a resource right here in our community. You
That's
also are a business person. You have your own media group, you do events.
Yes.
Tell us about your business development. Why you decide to be in business for yourself? Because you, with all your gifts, talents, with all your abilities, Milissa, you could have been part of those 500 companies doing lots of things and maybe making some more money now. But you decided to follow your passion.
Yes.
And one thing I understand, your passion is to help people build their self-confidence through multimedia and to communication. Why are you in business for yourself, Milissa Jayne?
That's a great question. So I did mention that I was working for the same company for 28 years. I started with the company in the UK in 1990. In 98, I moved to New York, same company, and then was transferred to Florida in 2005. And for the last, so let's say the earlier part of 2010, 2012, somewhere around there, I started to think, I would like to have my own company. I have a lot of talents, I have a lot of skills. I wonder if this would be possible. So I started to think about it in the back of my mind. And in 2018, the company that I worked for so long, 28 years at that point, they actually shut down a whole division, which I was a part of. And at that point, they said, you know what? You can obviously take your severance and, you know, go on your merry way. And a couple of weeks later, I was offered another opportunity to be a part of another multi-million, you know, big company. And I decided, I think this is the universe telling me this is time to step out on your own. You have enough skills, you have enough talents. And even in anticipation, because we did know that it was winding down in 2018, I started to make my move and formed my company in the early part of 2018, and the latter part of the year was when we were separated from the company. So I had already had my company started up at the early part of 2018 in anticipation. But the area that I'm in, it's media. I like to be in front of people and help other people to connect together. So my some of the things that my company offers is we do workshops, which so far have been complimentary for the community. As we get over this hump, we're going to get back into that in a live situation. I do media services like videography, and also through my show every Thursday night, we run ads so people can have commercials running through the show, and they have the opportunity to come on the show to promote their business, their product, or their
And also
service.
your show is live, you have music, you dance. It seems to me
It's a
that we are
variety.
right there with you.
It's a variety show. We do a lot of
It's,
things.
most of those Thursdays, I am in while I'm doing several other things, and I can say, hey, this is a very interesting show, and you give me the opportunity to meet other people in the community that I
That's
will
right.
not have met if I didn't have this opportunity to watch this show. You prefer to be a big fish in your little pond instead of being a little fish in
In
a
a big
big
pun.
pond.
Yes, you
We
know, it's
call corporate America, and sometimes you are that corporate America, and you are just a number.
right, right. Um,
What's
one of
next
the
for
other,
Milissa Jayne?
what's next? Oh, one of the things I was just about to say was keep on bringing people together. What's next is really sort of offering my workshop online, helping people get over their confidence and really, really build out more offerings for the community as far as teaching through video, through other topics, technology. And because what I've noticed as well is that people of a certain age are find that they're a little bit technology challenged. So I'm helping to help them, especially now that we're locked inside. Some people are realizing that they don't have the technology skills that they wish they had. So I'm helping people to brush up on those
No,
skills as
you're
well.
doing something extraordinary. I can tell you yesterday, I spent more than 3 hours with a friend
Mhm.
teaching him how to share a
Wow.
PowerPoint
Yes.
on Zoom. I've been
Yeah.
using Zoom for the last 6, 7 years myself. And a lot of people have discovered Zoom now and they want to go fast.
Hmm.
But at the beginning, there is level of adaptability
Hmm.
with the
Hmm.
new technology, and the more you use it, the better you become at it, and it takes some time.
That's
And
right.
there is nobody has arrived, because what you know today, you already outdated tomorrow,
Yes. That's
because there
right.
is something new. And
Yes.
that's why we need people like yourself. That is all you do 24
Yes.
hours. No, you need some sleep. But this is what you
I
do
think you
full
broke up
time.
for a
So
second.
that means you
Oh,
have an
this
opportunity. Go
yes.
ahead.
Yes. I am doing this full time now, and I will certainly be sort of letting people know that I'm out there and I'm a resource for that.
And I'm so glad to share that platform. And what you do, I like it because you're building what we call an ecosystem. And what
Ah.
is an ecosystem is that now you lay down a foundation to build a platform. And on that platform, the very same way Amazon has built his, starting 2000, selling used books, the very same way Apple started with that computer and moved to music, and now they just have those earplugs. And the same ecosystem, you have a new product, and when you're selling that product, you're making millions and millions of dollars. And that's what I see MJ Media Group will be doing, building wealth and multiplying wealth.
Oh,
How
yes.
do you see yourself, Milissa Jayne, that young girl coming from Birmingham, moving when she was 10, moving in their dreams, because dreams are things and they come true. They are part of yourself. That means you were moving within yourself to America, and you made it through a couple of years after, coming to New York, then to Miami, then to Fort Lauderdale, where you established your niche today. 20 years from now, this is 2040. 20 years from now, tell us, how do you see Milissa Jayne?
That's an interesting question. 20 years from now, I'm going to be saying, I will say that I am retired and I am relaxing, because people do think that I'm much younger than I am. So I will be an old lady at that point.
That's a compliment. You take it, right?
I'll take it. I will have built my company to where I want it to be. And I will be just looking back and enjoying just having a nice time. And I probably will have an organization that is running itself at that point. And I'll just check in from time to time. But I will have a good life, because I have been somebody who has always followed my dreams. Anything that I've ever wanted, I go for it, and there's nothing that can really stop me. So I know that I'll be doing exactly what I want to be doing at that time. Who knows what that really will be?
The legacy you will leave, and also the mentees that you will build. I know you are doing lots of seminars, lots of coaching, but sometimes there are some of your coaches who want to do more than just a simple seminar. They grip to you. Do you have a couple of key people that you are mentoring, that you are coaching, and that in 20 years you want to see blossomed, you want to see fulfilled their own dreams? The legacy that you will be leaving, Milissa.
Yes, you've just talked it into existence. You've just talked that into existence, because it's not something that I had in the back of my mind to do. But now that you've spoke about it, that is something that I'm going to aim for. I mean, I work with a lot of people. I don't see them as young people coming up. I just see them as we're on the same par, But now that you've mentioned that, I think that is an area that I'm going to look into, mentoring, coaching, and all of that, so that people can learn what I know, and then it continues like a cycle.
And as you know, what is interesting in coaching is that you are learning from them as well.
Oh, yes,
and
sure.
This is like a pool, and the more you give, the more it gets back to you. And the water of knowledge within that pool, it becomes clearer, and bigger.
Yes.
What a pleasure, what a distinct honor today in this conversation to talk with my friend, my fellow Toastmaster, and my coach from the ebook that I had, and I hope to learn more from you in that video confidence, in that video technical presentations, and for us to live the life we want. If I had to add value to what you do, Milissa, if I have to add value to your business, to your MJ Media Group, how can my friends watching this video, watching this interview, how can my friends can reach out to you?
Okay. They can reach out to me either by phone directly, 954-279-3893. I'll say that once more, 954-279-3893, or at info@mjmediagroup.net. info@mjmediagroup.net. Or I'm all over social media. My name is Milissa Jayne, Millissa Jayne on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Those are the three main areas. And if you can't get hold of me in any way, just get hold of Roosevelt.
I will transfer the communication, and this is my pleasure. I appreciate you. I appreciate your work, and I was on Instagram sharing my day-to-day business news with the Haitian community, and Milissa reached out to me saying, "Why don't you say a few words in English? What about your friends in
Right,
English?" I said,
right.
"Milissa, when you ask me to speak English, you are asking me to leave my comfort zone, to leave my queer area, and
Uh-huh.
now to put myself, I will say, it, naked in a certain way,
Uh-huh.
because this is my vulnerability to
Right,
have that opportunity to express myself in a language that I am still learning." I
right.
remember when I was back home and we had class in French, some who could not express themselves in French was shame. It was a shame.
Oh, oh dear.
Because when you are learning and you cannot perform at the level of your peers, for a reason or another, you have ideas in your mind and you cannot express them. That
Yes.
brings that self-confidence that you're speaking today.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
so glad that you helped me to
Okay.
leave my comfort zone and to
Ah,
start that conversation in English with you.
beautiful. I'm so happy for that. And I want to thank you for inviting me on your show. It's been wonderful speaking with you at this time. And I just wish the best for you and in your journey with your language, with your anything that you're working on. If there's anything that I can do, you just let me know as well. Okay?
I will sure do. Thank you, Milissa, for your participation. My guest today, Milissa Jayne from the MJ Group. I hope you go tonight or you reserve your spot this week, this Thursday, 9 p.m. on Facebook Live. Call her. She gave you her phone number. Contact her on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever. Once again, my name is Roosevelt Jean-Francois, and this has been my pleasure sharing that conversation with you. Milissa Jayne, see you next.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.